Hey guys, and welcome to True Talk Thursday. My name is Kim, and if we have never met, I am a creative freelancer with a passion for film and the written word. And if we have met, welcome back. Well, so let's get started with this True Talk Thursday. Alright guys, so on True Talk Thursday, we're going to discuss questions that we all have, those burning questions that every creative in the film and written word industries, and probably any creative industry in general has, as well as I'm going to share some tips on things that plague the creative mind, which brings me to today's topic, which is a really great topic because I feel like a lot of the times, I mean, I can only speak for myself really, and the thing that plagues me is focus. Right? I think when you have a creative mind, sometimes it kind of tends to go all over the place. You're so excited, your brain is going a mile a minute. And sometimes I think that leads to a focus problem. You get distracted, not only with your thoughts, but I mean, everyday life and the influx of information and avenues to get that information, and there's things that, you know, we use in our daily life that tends to draw our focus and maybe have us look a little away from what we're trying to get done. And so what I thought we'd talk about is like how to refocus, how to get back on track, how to find that path back to, being as creative as possible in a world that throws things in our ways to, the bright shiny thing, look over here. Yeah, that happens to me all the time. And so what I thought I'd do today is kind of share with you the things that I do to refocus. And I hope that in some ways this will help you out. So what we're going to discuss is my 5 tips on how to refocus. Hopefully it'll help you guys out. So my first thing that I do is write down your goals. And I actually, that's kind of a common thing everybody talks about. But for me, I really started doing it after reading this really great book called You're a Badass by Jen Sincero. And I'll tell you, there's a review of this book coming up on the channel on Saturday, so I won't go too much into the details of it, but there's an exercise that she has in there that you do, and basically boils down to write down your goals. What do you want to do in your life? Where do you want to see your path go? And so what I did was I actually wrote those down. I did the exercise in the book, and then I actually keep the written page that I had on me at all times. It is in my bag, it is in my wallet, it is somewhere on me, so that if I get distracted, if I start to, maybe watch a little too much Netflix or scroll through too much social media and kind of just waste away my day that I could have used, those hours to be productive, I will take it out. I think all of us know when we've lost focus. Sometimes it's just, maybe for me at least, easier to put stuff off, whether that be, I'm using it to, deal with like a fear of failure or, a fear of not being good enough. Whatever that is, I think that we know when we're unfocused. It's just sometimes hard to, pull that rope back and get back into the swing of things. So writing down your goals is a great idea. I highly suggest it. It's what keeps me motivated and also keeps me, being able to stay focused. So number 1, I ideally write down your goals. And they don't have to be long-term goals. They can be short-term goals. It could be like, today I want to finish this. The exercise in there actually talks about like where you want to see your life go. But honestly, you could whittle it down to daily goals and just keep that on you to stay focused if that's more what you're looking for. For me, it's I see the tunnel and I see where I want to be at the end, and that's where I need to go. There may be little side offshoots and paths and things to go, but I need to keep my eye on the light at the end. And so honestly, however you choose to do it, writing down your goals would be my first tip on how to refocus. So with that, let's move on to number 2. And I think number 2 is kind of like partnered with number 1. So what I do is I make priorities, and then I break those priorities down into simple tasks, because it is easier to stay focused on a simple task than a big task. So sometimes, just to use an example, I want to write a novel, right? Okay, that's great. I have the novel idea in my head. I know I want to write it. I know I want it to be about 300 pages. Okay, so that's my end goal, right? I want to write a novel that's 300 pages. Okay, so now I've got the big priority, right? And I'm using big priorities, but these can be used on small priorities too. So let's go back to my example. Let's use the novel example to ride through this. Okay, so I want to write a novel that's 300 pages. What are the tasks that are going to get me to that end outcome, right? So some of that tasks would be write down the outline, create the characters, do research. Okay, so those are smaller tasks. And I mean, you can break this down and go further and further and further down, but the smaller the task, the easier it is to focus on. And if you complete that task, the more accomplished you feel because you have taken that one step closer to that big priority. And so it makes it a lot easier to stay focused because you're not stuck on this big image. You have lots of little steps you can do because, you know, as an analogy, I can walk a mile. I can't jump a mile. If I could, that would be awesome. And that would mean I'd have superpowers and I'd be super stoked about that. But I can't jump a mile. I can walk a mile though. And every step is, you know, if you think about it like that, every step is one task completed. So I highly suggest, and like I said, it doesn't have to be about big priorities. It could be like, I woke up today, I want to get this done today. How am I going to get that done? You could break it down into everyday priorities. You could break it down into life priorities. You can break it down into project priorities. Whatever it is, just remember. And I think I really like that analogy. Just remember, you can't jump a mile, but you sure in the hell can walk a mile. So I think that number 2, make a priority list and break it down into simple tasks will help you stay focused and not get distracted. So, I mean, hey guys, I hope that all this, just the 2 that I've given you kind of helps you out a little bit. And remember, like, go ahead and leave some comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys, like, if there's any tricks or tips that you guys have to refocus, because all of us creative individuals, all of us entrepreneurs, all of us business people, whatever you do, we can always use the help and suggestions on new ways to stay focused. So let's move on to number 3. And 3 is actually something I think could be one of the most important things, and that is create a support system. I think a lot of the times a support system is the most needed, and I call my support system the people that are going to kick me in my butt when they realize that I'm not doing what I want to do, right? Those are the people that are going to call you up or even, you know, message you or whatever and say, hey, how is your project doing? Hey, I haven't seen you post anything. Hey, like, you know what? I've been waiting for that new blog. What's going on? And that's a support system. And honestly, a support system can be anything. It could be a group that you've joined on Facebook. It could be your best friend. It could be your mom. It could be anybody. Just have that support system that's there for you when you start to, you know, take those offshoot paths and get distracted. That'll course correct you and say, hey, like we talked, this is what you want to do. Like, you know, what's going on? Is there a way that I can help you? So a support system for anybody, for everything, I think is important, right? For life in general, a support system is, you know, the most important thing. We're a social creature. So, you know, and yeah, some of us are a little bit more loners, me included, but I still have a support system. You know, I have those people that are going to reach out and be like, hey, get your butt in gear. You said you wanted to do this. Why aren't you doing X, Y, and Z? And they're just kind of like someone who's just going to, like, you know, like I said, course correct you, kick you in the butt, say, hey, move on, let's do this. So a support system, and like I said, you can create that support system however you want. You know, And as a piggyback to this, I think also a way to create a great support system is to realize that there's people in your life that may not support what you're doing. And those are the people that, maybe you need to think about when you're working on a project, maybe, distancing yourself a little bit from. And I know sometimes that's going to be hard. There's going to be people in your life that you love, that have been friends forever, that just aren't supportive, or maybe you're negative. And honestly, negative people that don't support you will cause you to become unfocused easier than anybody else. So by all means, I am not saying cut people out of your life. Please don't take it that way. What I'm saying is that there are negative people that are not going to support you, and you need to think about how much you want them involved in your projects, in your creation, in that aspect of your life, because they can very easily cause you to become unfocused. Let's move on to number 4. And this is something that this year I've really concentrated on, making sure that I take time out to do. And I say number 4 is meditate, but honestly, number 4 should be taking care of yourself. And however you see that it works for you. For me, meditation is important because it is that 10 to 30 minutes of time where I shut my brain down, where I let it rest. Because what happens sometimes when you're becoming unfocused is that your brain, if you're anything like me, is going 50,000 million miles an hour. And that 10 to 30 minutes where I just shut my brain down, I put my meditational music on, I burn my incense, and I just close my mind off and think about nothing, which, by the way, is super hard, trust me, but it's a necessity because it allows my brain to recharge. It allows me to refocus. It allows me to quiet the voices, to quiet the noise, to just disconnect and reconnect with myself. And so for me, number 4 would mean meditate. But for you, it could mean anything. Honestly, the biggest thing to refocus is to find that one thing that makes you, I hesitate to say the word disconnect, but disconnect from everything except for yourself. Because you can quickly become unfocused if you are concerned with everyone else, right? Everything else, everyone, everything. There is so much, we're inundated with so much stuff that our brains are constantly on overload. And so taking that time, whatever it may be, it might be meditation, it could be you just simply want to sit there with music and have a cup of tea and read a book. It could be, a nice relaxing bath. It could be working out. Whatever it is that takes you away from everything and just allows your brain to shut down for as long as you possibly can, that is going to help you refocus because it's going to recharge your battery. So I think a lot of people when they're living that hustle life, are go, and just never take time for themselves. And I think that that's a mistake. So guys, number 4 would be just find that outlet that helps your brain and your body recharge. That's what I'm going to say. I actually had meditate on my notes, but I think whatever helps you disconnect and recharge your battery, that is perfect. All right, and so that leads me to number 5. And number 5 is going to sound kind of counterintuitive, but just follow along with me because I think you're going to get it. I think it might change everything for you. And number 5 for me is schedule your distractions. So you're going to get distracted. In a world where I get notifications on my phone is never two feet away from me, basically. Remember the days when you didn't have that? Oh my gosh. Or maybe you don't, in which case, yikes. I just made myself feel a lot older. So I think scheduling your distractions can be a way to keep you from being distracted nonstop. And so this is how I do it. So I work in 45-minute increments on any projects, on anything, on everything. So that 15 minutes in between the next 45-minute cycle, I allow myself to scroll through my feeds, to check out a YouTube video if I want to check it out, to, whatever my distraction may be, I allow myself that 15-minute increment to do it. Now, when I start working, I turn off all notifications. I turn off my ringer. You cannot get a hold of me. I also schedule time in the morning to do all that as well. So I give myself a 30-minute time block in the morning to go through all my social media, to go through my email, to go to watch. For me, I watch an inspirational YouTube video or like an educational YouTube video. By the way, if you want a great YouTube channel for inspiration and just get you going, you should check out Evan Carmichael. He's the one I pretty much watch every morning, and he has a lot of great content. So if you're listening to this and you want a good inspirational, motivational kind of hit in the morning and you're looking to watch a video, check out Evan Carmichael's channel. And you know what? I'll put a link in bio below, in the description below, so that you can head over to it. It's an awesome channel and it gets me going all the time. So anyway, yeah, schedule your distractions. Allot yourself that time. It's now a part of everyday life, and we have to allow for it, but you can't allow it to run your life. Now, if it's your business, that's completely different, right? If you're a social media manager or whatever if your business is that, it might be different. But even still, you have distractions that are wholly different. So maybe you need, you just schedule those distractions, the things that cause you to get unfocused, the things that you start doing and then you realize you've just wasted 3 hours. Those things, schedule them. Allot your time for them. Because if you schedule them out, you won't be as tempted to spend as much time on them. Hey guys, so like I said, thanks for taking the time out and hanging out with me on this True Talk Thursday. You are going to get every Thursday by 11 p.m. tips on motivation and all kinds of good stuff like that, as well as answering those questions we all have. And they are going to be in the realm of film and the written word, or just in general creative questions that we kind of have. So if you guys have any questions you'd like me to talk about, or any questions you have, leave those in the comments below, as well as, hey guys, leave me some ideas on tips that you guys use to refocus. I would love to hear them and chat a little bit about them. If you liked the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And guys, if you want to hear more of True Talk Thursday, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I do post a video every day by 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on all kinds of different subjects having to do with film and the written word. So check those out as well. And once again, guys, thank you. And until next time, safe journeys.